So I'm making this video to address certain questions that I've come across or things that people have asked me, and I've talked to a few different people about this. And one of the things I never do is tell people to stop their medications. I do not uh, believe they should. Um, I do not. It's not that I don't believe they should. I just think that where people are at, it's probably not the best time. And case in point, somebody posted, and it's not on my video, but someplace else I saw it, and they talked about that they wanted to stop their medication because, based on some thoughts and people reading their thoughts, but then it's just something that's happening within their heads, and the people reading it, uh, they know or they're sure the voices are real, and then to stop their meds so they can go find out where the heck these voices are coming from. So they they're posting this, and I thought, man, that's probably not a good idea. I wrote this, right. That's probably not a good idea because, for one, it's not the mind you want to go into this with, because one, you're still delusional, right? You still believe that this is real, so you're gonna stop the meds. You're gonna go down this damn deep dark rabbit hole, and you're gonna be lost. And the next thing you're gonna know, you're gonna be in the hospital or something, right? On meds, right? Because they're gonna force it to you. So it's I'm not anti-medication. I'm not anti-medication, and I'm not pro-medication either. I'm just, you know, whatever you need. All right, you need it, you should be on it. I think that's a responsible thing to do. I do think that if you know that you are ill, and the medications can help you, be on the medications, because it's a burden for everybody if we're sick, right? Family, healthcare system, and for us to just not not take care of ourselves like that, and then we spent like how many months in a hospital, or delusional, or losing ourselves out there in our homes, and people are worried about us or loved ones and so forth. It's just it's not the right thing to do. So I know a lot of people might not like that, but that's just how I look at it. Now, obviously, I understand that there are problems with medications. They're not perfect. They have a lot of side effects, negative side effects, and so forth. And sometimes they don't help you at all, right? Like, I'm one of those people who they didn't really help. Because I still believed my family were witches, still believe people were reading my mind, still believed I was a prophet, and all this stuff like that. Uh, but I never had insight, and even that I want to talk about. But I mentioned to this person, um, that, and I mentioned this to somebody the other day. It was on Reddit, and then I was just talking to somebody else about that through an email, and so I figured I'd make a video on it. Medications, it's first I'll say this: the side effects of medications affects people differently, right? Some people can be on the same medications, and one person will have like minimal side effects. Another person will have a whole lot of side effects, right? So it's an individual thing. Depends on how your system will tolerate it, right? Um, but I liken it to, I said, psychosis is like being outside in a blizzard, butt naked, right? Butt naked in a blizzard, and it's dark, and there are monsters, uh, growling, hungry, drooling monsters out there, and you're out there with them. Nobody else is out there. Not one other soul. It's just you and all of them. Right? So what that means is it's gonna be a lot of fear. It's a lot of panic. A lot of uh, just loss. Right? A lot of just chaos. You're running. You're confused. You're just seeking a place to rest, a place to hide, and it's just chaos. Right? It's you're just in this heightened state of panic 24/7, right? You try not to get eaten and trying to be warm, right? So that's kind of what it is. And medication now, it's almost like it provides you with a shelter, right? Provides you with a shelter, and it can keep those monsters out. Maybe not completely. Sometimes they reach through and grab you and slash you a bit. Nah, you're wounded, but you get away from wherever they're coming through. They're reaching through. Maybe it's not warm in there so much, a little bit, maybe not, fully. You're still cold. You gotta still, shiver a little bit. It's not perfect, right? There's still room for improvement, but at least you're not in there, out there facing the elements just head on, right? With no covering, right? So it has benefits, right? So there's problems and a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for improvement. And I always tell people, I always caution against stopping the medication. Anybody who's talked to me will always say, that's one thing I always tell them, don't stop your meds. I think you should be on your meds. I think, but the reason why I will still help people, I'm not going to just say, take your meds and just, um, because I know people. I know who I am. I know people, and I know they're gonna do it anyway, right? So if you're gonna do it anyway, I try to arm people with the best I can, and if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. But I'll say, don't do it. It's not, it's not. You're not ready yet, right? There's a certain mind it takes to step out there. That person on Reddit still believing that the other people are reading their minds and it's not even that they believe that, it's how they're responding to it. They're gonna go track down the voices, right? So they believe in it to that extent. It's dangerous, right? You're just gonna be a plaything for them. They're gonna devour you. They're gonna you're not the one in charge of this game, right? You're gonna be uh, your thing that they're going to be having fun with, and they're going to lead you along, play with you, and then maybe you'll walk right into their mouth and they'll just chomp down on you. That's what happens, right? It gets worse, progressively worse, until all you want to do is, right, or you end up in a hospital, you know. But insight is a thing that's necessary before somebody stop their meds, right? And when I say insight, I don't mean the thing we call insight. It's not insight. I did a video called Schizophrenia and the Three Levels of Insight. So check that out if you care to. I think it's worth it. But knowing you are ill is what we call insight, and that is not insight. It's not. It's a form of insight. Essentially, it's a shadow of insight, right? Which means it kind of looks like it, but it's not. Like you saw a shadow of a person that looks like the person, but it's not really the real person, right? It's a form of them, right? So there's no substance in this. When somebody just knows they take medication and eventually they're convinced that, oh yeah, you have schizophrenia or whatnot, and you're having hallucinations and so forth, and oh man, oh that's what's happening. Oh my gosh, oh okay, okay, okay. They get it. They call that insight. You know you're ill, but then when you stop the medication, what happens is the voice come back, the paranoia come back, the delusion comes back, and now you're caught up again and say you had insights. Like, no, you didn't have insight. You had a shadow of insight, a form of it, right? If you have insight, true insight is understanding, right? It's understanding what is happening and how you can resist it, right? That's insight because you can resist it. And a lot of people who claim to have insight do not believe that they can even resist this thing and then say they have insight. It's your freaking mind, right? And they'll tell you, oh, it's just chemical imbalances and I can't do nothing about it. And then say you have insight. No, you do not, right? That's not insight. You just have a form of insight. And as soon as the test comes, because when you claim something, when you start to take a positive turn, guess what's going to happen? The negative is going to come to steal that from you. And so what happens is the fire starts to burn a little bit. And whatever insight you think you have starts to dissolve, starts to disintegrate, right? It disappears, it melts, crumbles, and then you're right back outside in the cold, facing those beasts, and they're hunting you again, and you totally forget that this is just a delusion, hallucination, and so forth. You buy into it again, running for your life, panicking, stressing. You're in a hospital, back on medications. That's the difference, right? When you have understanding and you decide to take down that barrier, not some flimsy thing called, like we call insight, that just oh yeah, I got schizophrenia and I'm gonna try and not give into it. I'm gonna be ready. That's not it. Right? That's not it. When you have insight, there is no trying. You don't try, right? If you try, you're gonna die, right? You don't try, right? Because when you understand, you gotta know you gotta know how you've been moved along up to this point, and it should give you the understanding how you need to respond. And so when you have insight, it's like, okay, you see the patterns. It's a lot of patterns. Okay, now you can let go, take away the barrier, let the monsters come, right? You will not fail. Because when you have understanding, it's not just knowing this isn't real. There's a response that comes with a knowing. And it's the response that kills people because they don't have the response because they don't understand. When you understand, you have to respond appropriately to the darkness. You have to respond appropriately to the monsters. And a lot of time people go there just trying, just real tensing up, real, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. No, right? That's a sign you don't have insight. So what I'm saying is don't be in such a rush to stop your medication, right? I always say work with your healthcare provider if possible. But if you're going to do it anyway, patience. That's the thing, like is people get so impatient because they're thinking about the life that they want and that they miss and all these things, and it's like, and you get ahead of yourself, and it's like trying to when you're building a house, if you want the house to be able to stand through the storms of life, the storms that eventually comes, you have to build a solid foundation. And this is the part that everybody wants to skip over. Everybody wants to get to a structure that's standing just so they can say, I have a house. Look at me. I'm standing. I'm well. And the foundation is crap. a storm comes and the whole damn thing collapses. You need to take your time, build a foundation. Listen, life isn't going nowhere. Life is right here in this moment, in this second that you are taking to build the foundation. This is life, right where you are at. Life is right where the ant is at on the ground, gathering its food, doing its thing. Life is right there. Life isn't in a big job or some office or in my own house or my own apartment. I'm doing this. That's not all life's about. Life is in this moment. What you're doing in this moment, that's life. Build a foundation. Take your time. Because once you tear down, allow this barrier to fall, you don't want your house to collapse again and put you back, further back. You want to be able to continue building. And that's why you have the most important part is the beginning, is the foundation. Once you get that right, the understanding, then you can go up in levels. And there's so many people trying to climb up, trying to build up, and no foundation. They want to skip over that because it's inconvenient for where they want to go in life. That just shows a lack of understanding and somebody that's not ready. All right, so hopefully that makes some sense. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not knocking anybody or trying to ruin anybody's time. I know we all want to succeed, but I want you to succeed. That's what I'm trying to put this out there, and so that people don't misunderstand. For me, when it came out, when I was on meds, on off meds a lot of times throughout the years, and I kept going back to the hospital after I stopped meds and do my thing. But once I got insight to know I was ill, it wasn't just that. I mean, it took me into a dark place, but once I decided to get back on track, I just one shot. That's all it took, right? Because the understanding came. It wasn't just, this is hallucinations and so forth. I had the understanding that came with it, and that allowed me to move forward, not just what they call insight today. That's not it at all. But so I'm just trying to help you guys build up solidly and to really get your focus in on what matters, and hopefully it helps. If not today, then maybe tomorrow, maybe down the road, this will come back. Anyway, until next time, later.